Feels good, feels good. We struggled to make shots all night. I missed some big ones down the stretch, made some boneheaded plays, so, it's only right that one falls.
Tyrese Haliburton just revealed a shocking moment that basketball fans everywhere can't stop talking about, and it's not what anyone expected. The Indiana Pacers star pulled off one of the most improbable game-winning plays in recent NBA history, turning what looked like certain defeat into an unforgettable victory against the Milwaukee Bucks. This stunning finish adds another dramatic chapter to what has become one of the NBA's most exciting rivalries.
Down three, Haliburton's got the ball, Haliburton rises up!
With just 3.2 seconds remaining and the Pacers trailing 114-111, Haliburton executed a play that will be replayed for years to come. After Damian Lillard sank 2 clutch free throws to give Milwaukee what seemed like a secure 3-point advantage, the Pacers deployed an unorthodox inbound strategy that completely changed the game's outcome. The Pacers lined up with all 4 potential receivers positioned in the backcourt, 3 of them arranged in a parallel line, a clever design specifically intended to create confusion and free up Haliburton on the move. This wasn't improvisation, but calculated strategy, as Indiana had previously used this exact formation during last year's Eastern Conference Finals against Boston. The play worked precisely as designed. Haliburton caught the inbound pass and immediately launched a desperate three-pointer as Giannis Antetokounmpo rushed to contest the shot. Not only did Haliburton drain the three-pointer to tie the game, but Antetokounmpo made the critical error of fouling him in the process. The rare 4-point play opportunity that followed would determine the game's outcome.
Here and right in the grill of Giannis.
With the pressure mounting, Haliburton stepped to the line and calmly sank the free throw, completing the 4-point play and giving Indiana an improbable 115-114 lead. When Antetokounmpo's answering 3-point attempt missed as time expired, the Pacers had secured a victory that seemed impossible just seconds earlier. But wait, there is more. This game-winning sequence is particularly rare in competition. While buzzer-beating shots occur with some regularity throughout a season, game-winning 4-point plays represent a far more unusual combination of skill, timing, and opportunity. The situation requires defenders to commit the cardinal sin of late-game defense, fouling a 3-point shooter while protecting a 3-point lead, making this finish all the more remarkable. The dramatic conclusion wasn't just spectacular for its rarity, it carries significant implications for both teams' playoff positioning. With the victory, Indiana moved into a tie with Milwaukee, both teams now holding identical 36-28 records. When factoring in the Detroit Pistons at 37-39, all 3 teams are effectively tied for the Eastern Conference's crucial 4th seed position. This single shot could ultimately determine which team secures home court advantage in a potential first-round playoff matchup, or even alter which teams face each other when the postseason begins. The difference between hosting Game 7 on your home floor versus playing on the road can often determine a series outcome, making Haliburton's heroics potentially season-defining for both franchises. The moment gains additional significance in the context of the evolving Pacers-Bucks rivalry. These teams have developed an unexpected tension over recent seasons, with previous matchups featuring disputes over game balls and Indiana's surprising victory over Milwaukee in last season's NBA Cup tournament. Tuesday's thriller only intensifies what has become one of the league's most compelling team dynamics. Haliburton's incredible shot-making ability was on full display during this sequence. The 24-year-old guard has established himself as one of the NBA's premier young talents, but this moment represents a new pinnacle in his rapidly ascending career. The difficulty of making a contested, off-balance three-pointer with the game on the line, let alone while absorbing contact from a former Defensive Player of the Year in Antetokounmpo, showcases the exceptional skill level Haliburton has developed. What makes this finish particularly remarkable is how it contrasts with the preceding moments of the game. Just seconds earlier, Andrew Nembhard had split a pair of free throws that would have tied the game, putting Indiana in a precarious position. When Lillard subsequently made both of his free throws to extend Milwaukee's lead to 3 points, the Bucks appeared to have secured the victory. The dramatic swing from near certain defeat to improbable victory in just 3.2 seconds demonstrates the unpredictable nature of NBA basketball at its most thrilling. The execution of Indiana's inbounds play deserves special attention. Rather than running a conventional last-second design, the Pacers utilized pattern movement and misdirection to create the necessary space for their star player. This strategic element highlights the importance of coaching and preparation in manufacturing opportunities for late-game heroics. The fact that Indiana had previously employed this exact formation in high-leverage playoff situations against Boston shows a level of planning and adaptability that distinguishes the most successful NBA organizations. For Milwaukee, this loss represents a painful missed opportunity to gain separation in the tightly contested Eastern Conference standings. Despite receiving clutch free throw shooting from Lillard in the final seconds, the Bucks' defensive breakdown on the game's decisive possession undermined what had been an otherwise effective closing stretch. Antetokounmpo's foul, the exact scenario teams work to avoid when protecting a 3-point lead, will likely become a teaching point throughout the league on late-game defensive discipline. The immediate aftermath of Haliburton's shot captured the dramatic emotional swings inherent in such moments. While the Pacers bench erupted in celebration and Haliburton displayed rare emotion following his game winner, the Bucks players showed visible disbelief at how quickly victory had transformed into defeat. These contrasting reactions encapsulate the thin margins that often separate success from failure at the NBA's highest level. As video of the play circulated across social media platforms and sports networks, basketball fans and analysts alike marveled at both the improbability and execution of the sequence. The NBA's official Twitter account immediately shared footage of the play with the caption, "Tyrese Haliburton. Oh my goodness, fading triple to tie it and the foul."
Haliburton's got the ball. Haliburton rises up.
Capturing the collective astonishment of the basketball. With just over a month remaining in the regular season, this single play could resonate well beyond Tuesday night. Should Indiana and Milwaukee meet in the playoffs, a distinct possibility given their current standings, this game winner will inevitably frame the narrative of their postseason matchup. Home court advantage gained or lost by this single outcome could ultimately determine which team advances deeper into the playoffs. For Haliburton personally, this moment represents another significant milestone in his development into a genuine NBA star. Beyond his consistently excellent statistical production, creating signature moments in high-leverage situations establishes the kind of reputation that separates good players from those who eventually become legends of the game. The ability to deliver when the pressure is greatest distinguishes the truly elite performers. As the regular season enters its final stretch, both teams now find themselves in virtually identical positions, with matching records and comparable paths to playoff seeding. The psychological impact of such a dramatic finish could extend beyond the standings, potentially providing Indiana with a confidence boost should these teams meet again in the postseason. This game-winning sequence has now earned a permanent place in the highlight reels of unforgettable NBA finishes. The combination of high-stakes, perfect execution, and sheer improbability ensures that Haliburton's four-point play will be remembered alongside the league's most dramatic game winners. For basketball fans, this moment exemplifies why the sport's unpredictable nature continues to captivate audiences worldwide.
What do you make of LeBron confronting you in the aftermath of that situation?
I thought it was weak. I thought it was some bullshit. But in the moment, I knew that I was listening to a father.
Stephen A. Smith just took his feud with LeBron James to another level, and it's more intense than anyone expected. The outspoken ESPN analyst didn't hold back on the Gil's Arena podcast, slamming LeBron's courtside confrontation as weak and bulls. Days after their heated exchange went viral, Smith has doubled down, adding even more fuel to the fire between him and the NBA's all-time leading scorer. This rivalry is far from over. What started as a small, tense moment at Crypto.com Arena has turned into a huge argument in the sports world. At first, Smith seemed calm when reacting to what happened, but now he's speaking out strongly against how LeBron James acted during the Lakers game against the New York Knicks last Thursday.
Before I get any further, let me just put to bed a couple of things that have been reported that are false.
I thought it was weak. I thought it was some bull, Smith declared bluntly during his podcast appearance, dramatically shifting from his more restrained initial reaction. But in the moment, I knew that I was listening to a father. This stark characterization represents a significant escalation in Smith's public stance toward the NBA legend.
I thought it was some bullshit, but in the moment, I knew that I was listening to a father. Here's what happened. I'm represented by William Morris Endeavor. The founder of William Morris Endeavor, Ari Emanuel, had courtside seats right next to the Lakers bench.
Smith provided details about the unexpected confrontation, explaining how the situation unfolded. Smith said, "Apparently LeBron had walked out at the timeout, and I turn around and he's right here in my face. He said, 'Yo, you gotta stop talking about my son. You gotta stop fucking with my son. That's my son. That's my son.'" The timing of Smith's intensified criticism comes after additional footage emerged showing James discussing the incident with ESPN analyst Richard Jefferson. In this clip, James can be heard saying, "That's the only thing I'm tripping. I don't give a fuck." Once he talks about, "I'm pleading to you as a father. I can't." This behind-the-scenes conversation appears to have further inflamed Smith, who admitted being really putzing hard after seeing James's exchange with his colleague.
After the situation. So what we want to do is we're going to play the footage of that. It's not long, maybe, I don't know, 20 seconds or so, and then we're going to come back and continue on the show. Take a look at this footage here.
Smith forcefully refuted James's characterization of his comments, insisting they were directed at the Lakers star himself rather than his son Bronny, who is currently in his rookie NBA season. "It wasn't about your son. I know he's number 55. I know he got work to do. I believe that he's got the potential, and by the way, I'm rooting for him. I ain't rooting against nobody, but I was talking about your You did this," Smith exclaimed with increasing intensity.
I know he got work to do. I believe that he got potential. I believe that he got the potential to go pro. I truly believe that. It's going to be tough, but I think he could pull it off. And by the way, I'm rooting for him. I ain't rooting against nobody.
The First Take host specifically criticized James's approach to the confrontation, suggesting the basketball icon should have handled the situation privately. Rather than come up to me at courtside, all you had to do was say, "Yo, I need to see you after the game." Smith stated forcefully, "You didn't do that, sincere. You said you're fucking with my son." "No, I wasn't. I was talking about you." Smith's frustration extended beyond this specific incident to encompass what he perceives as special treatment afforded to James throughout his career. All of us as reporters, as a league, as an NBA franchise, had to sit back and be quiet and capitulate to your size. You did that, Smith declared, suggesting a broader pattern of preferential treatment that has long frustrated members of the sports media.
You the one that had us as reporters, as a league, as an NBA franchise. All of us got to sit back and be quiet and capitulate to your shit.
Come on now.
You did that.
The confrontation reportedly centered on Smith's previous comments about LeBron's handling of his son Bronny's entry into the NBA. Smith had previously suggested that LeBron's very public desire to play alongside his son had inadvertently placed excessive pressure and scrutiny on the rookie. This perspective clearly struck a nerve with James, leading to the courtside confrontation that caught both basketball fans and media personalities by surprise. Despite Smith's increasingly harsh assessment of the situation, LeBron's agent, Rich Paul, has attempted to downplay the significance of the clash. During an appearance on the Pat McAfee show, Paul stated, "I didn't think it was much. But as adults, you try to handle things the best way possible, so I was glad they were able to move on." He acknowledged the challenge sports personalities face with media criticism, noting that as much as they critique, sometimes it can be felt as if it's a little bit more than that. Let's see what Rich Paul said.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think it was much, but I think that, as adults, you try to handle things the best way possible. And so I was glad they were able to move on. But, it's tough. Anytime you have media platforms, and there's so many today, and these guys,
Paul insisted that both parties have moved on from what he characterized as merely a dust-up. However, Smith's latest comments suggest the ESPN commentator has not only not moved past the incident, but has become increasingly indignant about it upon further reflection. The very public nature of this feud highlights the unique dynamics between modern sports media personalities and the athletes they cover. Smith, known for his bold and often controversial opinions, finds himself directly confronted by one of sports' biggest stars in a way that blurs traditional boundaries between media and subject. The resulting tension provides a rare glimpse into the genuine emotions that can simmer beneath the surface of professional relationships in the sports world. This escalating conflict comes at a particularly sensitive time for James, who is not only navigating the Lakers' push toward the playoffs, but also dealing with the added complexity of his son's rookie season in the NBA. The unprecedented father-son dynamic has created unique challenges both on and off the court for the James family. For Smith, this confrontation represents the latest in a career filled with high-profile disputes with major sports figures. His willingness to directly challenge James, arguably the most powerful player in NBA history, reinforces his reputation for fearless commentary regardless of potential consequences to relationships with the athletes he covers. As video of both the original confrontation and Smith's subsequent comments continues to circulate widely across social media platforms, basketball fans find themselves witnessing an extraordinary clash between two of the most recognizable figures in sports. The raw emotion displayed by both men reveals the personal stakes involved when media criticism intersects with family matters for professional athletes. This is happening right when the Lakers are trying hard to make the playoffs, which could be a big distraction for them. LeBron James is usually very good at staying focused, even when there's drama in the media. But now, people are wondering if this personal issue will affect how he plays in these important games. The conflict also raises broader questions about the boundaries between sports journalism and personal criticism, particularly when family members become part of the narrative. Smith has defended his right to comment on James's decision to publicly campaign for his son to join him in the NBA, arguing that once such family matters enter the public domain, they become fair game for analysis and critique. As this drama unfolds, fans see more than just basketball. They witness the clash between media scrutiny and personal boundaries in a world of constant coverage and social media. Whether this confrontation marks a permanent fracture in the relationship between Smith and James remains to be seen. What's clear is that Smith, far from backing down, has chosen to escalate his criticism of James's approach to the situation, potentially setting the stage for continued tension between these prominent sports personalities.